Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Frozen with Outdoor Ventures, and as always, thank you so much for joining me. Today, I want to talk about my top 3 gear choices for the PCT, the gear that I loved the most on the trail. And tell you what, actually, before we start this thing, it was really hard to narrow down from all my gear that I used on the trail because everything performed exceptionally well, and I loved a lot of the gear out there. Let's go through it. All right, at number 3 in descending order, I brought a Flextail Zero pump, and I know you guys are probably tired of hearing about this thing. I'm tired of hearing about this thing, but it did perform really well. Now, what's funny on this one, this was a last minute decision. I decided 3 days before leaving for the Pacific Crest Trail that I was gonna try this out with the intention of sending it back whenever I came home for my son's birthday, a few weeks after starting the trail. And I kept it with me, everybody. I absolutely love this thing. 2.1 ounces, and it saves just a ton of time once you get to camp. Like, the last thing I wanna do when I get to camp is sit there with my mouth on a sleeping pad, blowing it up after hiking all day, 20, 25 miles, whatever it ends up to be. And then, halfway through the middle of the night, realize that, man, I'm pretty cold because of that hot air that I put in there. This is awesome. I think Flextail did a great job at this thing. Now, I will shift away from this as I love to try new products. I have the Pad Pal, which we'll take a look at whenever I, take my tent out next time. And we're gonna see about this. 2.1 ounces, the other one is like 10 grams, and it uses a battery bank. I wanna say one thing, though mine didn't give me any problems throughout the entire trail, my hiking partner, Bigfoot, though his lasted the whole trail for him, sometimes his pump stopped in the middle of blowing his pad up. We couldn't figure out why. It didn't appear to have any water damage, but I do wanna tell you that his was kind of messing up. Now, everyone else I talked to, and there were a lot of people using this thing, everybody seemed to love this. Nobody had any problems. And I will continue to use this thing, or maybe the Pad Pal. We'll see where it goes. All right, second piece of gear as we get down to the line. First off, I'm wearing a Melanzana microgrid hoodie. I hiked in one of these on my 2019 Appalachian Trail Through hike. Had it the whole way, right? Loved it. It was just nice. It was good in the weather. It was great. But I wanted to try something different on the Pacific Crest Trail. And so I opted for a Lightheart gear hoodie. It's kind of the same thing. It has the pocket, it has the hood, it has a cinch on the hood. This one particularly has thumb holes, which I really enjoyed using on those really cold days. When I didn't want to just put on a glove. I had my trekking poles and never had any problems, no quality issues. It was great. I had this specific hoodie, this microgrid hoodie from Lightheart Gear, any temperatures below, I'd say 50 degrees, this handled great. Now for temperatures above 50, and I kind of switched as we got into Northern California, I believe, I went with another version of the hoodie in a different material. Same cut, same exact cut, but this is an Alpha Direct model. It's probably half the weight. I think maybe 5 or 6 ounces versus 11 or 12 ounces on this one. And this was great above 45 degrees. Also has thumb holes in the sleeves. And having now hiked one long trail in a Melanzana and another long trail in a Lightheart gear, I think the Melanzana is great casually. It works well outside, don't get me wrong. I think the Lightheart gear works better just due to the cut. Now that might just be my body type. This worked better like keeping the wind out. This was not an issue. The hood handled better, I thought. Casually, like hanging around the house, I kind of prefer the Melanzana just because it's less warm than this and it fits pretty well. But I think the Alpha Direct hoodie could be an easy replacement if you just want to wear it casually, just in your day-to-day. So keep that in mind. I think the fit for being outdoors or handling technical weather or terrain, this is better because it's not loose. Your sleeves don't fall down whenever you go like this. You know what I mean? It fits better. So we'll just leave it at that. Last but not least, you know what this is, guys. This is the Zpacks Plex Solo. I looked forward to setting this thing up every day. Now I've been using this for the past few years now, and Other than the mouse holes, there's a couple mouse holes in the floor at this point, this looks almost brand new. It's extremely light. It sets up with one trekking pole. I did a little mod on here after Zpacks came out with a magnet toggle for your doors. It kind of just holds back the door with a magnet instead of an actual like loop and toggle system, which works out exceptionally well when it's raining or windy or really any situation. And as it stands with this configuration, this is my all-time absolute favorite piece of gear. And it's sitting pretty close to my dream hammock, which is saying a lot. I absolutely love my dream hammock from the AT and now the Monolight, the one that I have. But this is really close, guys. I never had an issue with this. It handled great in 50-mile-an-hour gusts of wind. It handled great in freezing rain, snow, water crossings. Like, you couldn't do anything bad to this tent. And most days, there was barely any condensation in it. Now, I left the doors open most nights, but on those really cold, windy nights, that door was closed, and 90% of the time, I woke up without having to wipe the walls down, which is very, very good for a single walled tent. So I think that's about it. Can't really say anything else much about these three pieces of gear. Other than that, man, I am so glad that every single one of these ended up in my pack. I'm extremely lucky for being able to hike the PCT. And again, thank you so much for watching me on the PCT. I'll see you guys in the next one, and I'm looking forward to getting out there. I got the winter blues so hard right now. I got a big project down here. We finally got the wall up behind you, and we're mudding in the other room. There's actually so much dust just everywhere. I gotta get a vacuum down here, but yeah, guys, I can't wait to get on the trail, and we'll take a look at some new camera gear, namely the drone. I want to give you a first look at the Potensic Atom in the next video. If you have any questions about any of the gear you've seen today, look in the video description and leave me a comment if you have a question about it. You know, maybe you want a sizing option for the hoodies if you go with light hard gear. I'm happy to try to help you out in any way I can. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the trail, everybody.